The Sussex Police and Crime Panel was summoned to the annual meeting, which took place on Friday the 28th of June 2013. It is called annual because it was the first meeting of the SPCP year. I started to watch the webcast with a view to making a video from it,
meeting of Sussex Police and Crime Panel,
but abandoned it after 70 minutes as there had been only one item of interest, a revelation from a member of the public. I had already abandoned the idea of making a video from the previous meeting,
first of all, to welcome our web watchers,
as when the webcast became belatedly available 3 days after the event, it proved too depressing to waste much time on, and instead I transcribed on my website the questions that the representatives of the people had asked about the appointment of the new chief executive in the Commissioner's office.
I have worked very closely with inspectorate bodies such as Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, the Office of Surveillance Commissioner, the Information Commissioner's Office. So having that breadth of skills wider than just operational policing is what I can bring to this role.
That person spent 28 years working as a member of Sussex Police. No one questioned the wisdom of the Commissioner's appointment of another Sussex policeman to the office which is supposed to hold Sussex Police to account. After abandoning the June webcast, I read the agenda to see what I had missed, discovered statements relevant to my central concern about Sussex Police, and changed my mind. For instance, questions to the Commissioner should not relate to operational matters or to individual grievances, must not be defamatory, frivolous, vexatious or offensive, and must not require the disclosure of confidential information. This video is about that revelation from a member of the public and about the significance of those restrictions on questions. First, the revelation. Item 8 on the agenda was public question time. Apparently, once a year, the public are allowed to ask the Commissioner and the panel questions, though most of the allotted time was taken up by questions from panel members. The first question, from his high chair, in his own ponderous fashion, was put by the chairman.
the first question, the questioner wasn't able to attend at the meeting this morning, but her question is, and on behalf of the panel to the Commissioner, I'll put the question. Are you happy to answer, Commissioner? Yep. The question is, from our question, I would like to know why we are increasing the numbers of PCSOs and not frontline officers.
The Commissioner, or as I have learned to think of her, the Sussex Police Principal Public Relations Proponent, or SPPPRP for short, answered the question.
We've increased the number of PCSOs by 30, but I'm happy to say that we also, for the first time in 3.5 years, opened the recruitment for police officers, police constables.
She did not say why PCSOs had been recruited. Her answer thereafter was about the recruitment of police constables.
I think that's a good story.
And special constables.
Okay, question 2 is from Terence Rixon, who is with us this morning, and if you would very kindly, Mr. Rixon, if you're able to get up to the microphone.
My question refers to the 101 non-emergency telephone service. I'm concerned at the length of time one is kept holding whilst waiting for the call to be answered. On Wednesday morning, about 11 o'clock, I rang to seek an update on the criminal damage to my car and was kept waiting or holding for over 15 minutes before the call was answered. Can I suggest that more resources be directed to this service, or that, after, say, 5 minutes holding, the call be automatically redirected to a police station in order that we could actually speak to someone to take notes and follow up a response?
If I may, I prepared an answer to your question, and then I have something else further to supplement. Sussex Police receives more than 1 million calls a year. The 999 calls continue to be answered in an average of 4 seconds, with 97% of all 999 calls answered in under 10 seconds this year alone. So that's a really good response time.
The question was not about 999 calls, but about the delay in answering 101 calls.
The non-emergency calls, the 101 that you refer to, since April, performance has dropped from 74% to 54% of calls to the 101 number being answered within the target of 60 seconds. The force target is 75%, so we need 75% answered within 60 seconds. The average wait time being 17.5 seconds per call, and 17% of the calls made were abandoned. Now, since April, the force have had a new system fitted called Niche, and it will significantly improve the quality of service that the force are able to deliver. But the introduction has, in the short term, increased the average call handling times for non-emergency crime calls. The force are taking a number of urgent steps to reduce those call handling times back to the expected levels pre-April. But the force does accept that this had led to longer delays in answering calls. I raised my concerns at the last week's Performance and Accountability monthly meeting that we have with the Chief Constable and his senior team, and he gave me assurances that the situation will be resolved quickly. Furthermore, there were 94,861 calls made to the 101 number in Sussex in the year to date. This is an increase of 5,306 calls in comparison to the 89,555 received in the previous year. Callers to 101 pay a flat rate charge of 15 pence, however long the call, and transferring calls to local stations, which is something you asked at the end of your question, is one of the plans being considered with the introduction of new technology, which we're hoping to have more news about later in the year. And just to add, I have a regular meeting with the Chief Constable every Friday, and I've just come hot from that and again raised the 101 performance handling. We've got at the current thing, 101 calls at the moment are answered within 60 seconds, 46.2%. So again, I stressed with him that this is something that really needs to be looked at and pushed as quickly. And the force are looking to resolve that as quickly as they can.
My advice is that you should never believe anything told you by Sussex Police without corroboration from a more trustworthy source. Our questioner's comment on these statistics illustrates this.
I've no dispute that the calls are answered within your 60-second target, but it's then the length of time one is kept hanging on, waiting to actually speak to a person. The call is usually answered, and then you're told you're in a queue, and you hold and hold. Now, could I ask that you consider henceforth that you do monitor the holding statistic rather than just the answering statistic? And secondly, the actual response I did have before I heard your statistical answer, but that in the opening preamble, it tells callers that to dial the direct extension number if they know it. Now, you would save an awful lot of frustration on the part of the public in holding on, as in my case a quarter of an hour, but speaking to others it is endless sometimes and they just give up and phone back. But I would ask you to consider publishing the extension numbers of police stations so that we can then speak to our local police station direct. We can just dial an extension number as soon as Lewis Control answers the phone automatically, and we just press in the extension number we want, but we don't know the numbers because you don't publish them.
This has gone on long enough. I had intended to examine how the present system for handling complaints about Sussex Police differs from practice during the existence of Sussex Police Authority. But the matter is so fraught with bureaucratic control and meetings in private that I need more time to see whether 7 months of the SPPPRP and her panel have revealed enough about what their practice is to make a comparison worthwhile. Isn't how Sussex Police Answer 101 calls an operational matter?